This is Brian too. I'm here in Charles de Gaulle Airport in Paris, France. Severely injured, especially from the last round of directed energy attacks targeting my ears and heart. I have to take medication just to keep my heart rate down. It's so badly damaged. Years of this, just years, over and over for hours each day and night. And heart entrainment. It's called heart entrainment, and training my heart into an irregular, rapid flutter. So what I want people to know about and understand is the technology. Mind control technologies are simple to understand and are extremely fragile. If you can understand how they work, you can disrupt them and defeat them. One of the things they're doing to target individuals is called serialization. They're serializing the victim, the mind control victim's thoughts into the spoken word. Okay, what do I mean serializing the victim's thoughts into the spoken word? In simple terminology, they're programming your mind. They're programming your brain to think out loud. It's part of the verification process. So, I thought the pharmacy, thought about the pharmacy system AI supercomputer. That's why my head and ears are ringing constantly, pulsating in pain, high-pitched screeching sound 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The system is monitoring my thoughts. It's also manipulating my thoughts. So it caused me, with a remote neural attack, the injection of a memory reference. It caused me to think out loud. Pharmacy. Well, I'm not going to the pharmacy. That's not where I was headed to begin with. But as soon as I recognized the remote neural attack, I was able to defeat their technology. See, they needed me to go to the pharmacy to prove that their technology was working properly. I didn't go to the pharmacy. I had no intention of going there. I'm going to get something to drink. But these are called memory attacks. And I call them remote neural attacks. That's what Dr. Robert Duncan called them. They're actually memory attacks. And what they're doing is blocking your real memories. That happens to me 24 hours a day. They're blocking your real memories and injecting fabricated or falsified memories. Blocking your real emotions by injecting fabricated or falsified emotions, meaning motivational impulses, okay? So a falsified memory is a psychological phenomenon where a person remembers an event or topic which never happened, ever. That's a falsified memory. A fabricated memory is a psychological phenomenon where a person remembers an event or topic which did happen, but which occurred differently than the victim recalls it to have happened. Okay? That's the difference between a falsified memory and a fabricated memory. Okay? So that's what I mean when I talk about these memory attacks. I mean they're seeking to modify the victim's active memory. They're seeking to deceive and manipulate the victim by causing the victim to lose time perception using drowsiness, for example. To pitch the victim into using sleep deprivation torture, for example, into functional disorientation, where the victim can't recognize modification of his active memory in real time to fight back against the system's influences because he's too drowsy, he's too disoriented. He's functionally disoriented. And that's what I mean when they use drowsiness without severe. I slept maybe an hour last night. Before that, I slept 2 hours. I've been in the Charles de Gaulle Airport for 2 days now, and I've slept 3 hours. And because I was at the JFK Airport the night before that, I slept 2 hours then. So in the last 3.5 days, going on 4 days, in the last 4 days, I've slept 4 hours. So what the system will do is it'll knock the victim out, and then it'll bring the victim out of sleep, normal sleep, into what's called theta state, which is hovering in dream state, where the victim is still awake but is incapacitated. And then that's where their technology is most effective, in theta state, 4 to 7 hertz theta state. Okay, that's how the technology works. So when the victim is in theta state, it's easier to program the victim. That's why they decimated my hearing to stop the Christian music, because that Christian music was depatterning and deconstructing the satanic ritual abuse, the neuroprogramming. So what do I mean by serialization? serialization of the victim's thoughts. They're forcing you to think out loud. It's not normal to constantly think out loud. If you're constantly thinking out loud over and over again each day, that's not you, that's the computer influencing you, causing you to think out loud as a means of verification of its technology. So as you get ready to do something, as you formulate your thoughts and you prepare to act, you say you're going to the grocery store, the supercomputer, the AI system will cause you to think out loud, grocery store. It'll inject that memory reference, that set of brain waves that it remotely captured, held, and now perpetually injects into your mind. Okay? So it's causing the victim, the serialization of the victim's thoughts into the spoken word simply means the supercomputer has programmed your mind to think out loud. Okay? So it's a game of deception and manipulation. The entire technology is based on that, those two words, deception and manipulation, to make the victim believe the thoughts that they're having, he or she is having, are their own. So you begin to speak or act unwillingly. You begin to speak or act in ways which you didn't before, without you realizing it. So you become susceptible to the AI supercomputer's influences. And so you can't recognize, because you're constantly drowsy all the time. You're in a constant state of functional disorientation. You can't recognize modification of your active memory in real time. So the system's constantly influencing you to make all these choices, mostly minor choices. But it doesn't care. They don't care about, where you go and what you do. They care about their technology. So their ability to influence you and control your mind. They're seeking to create thought filters. Drum roll, please listen up. Drum roll. They're seeking to create thought filters using remote neural software. The system the AI supercomputer uses this software to control your memory and thought process, to prevent you from thinking about certain things, using memory erasure, such as a pulse of energy to erase memory, a trauma, whatever, a pain stimulus, okay, to erase memory, drowsiness, dizziness, to erase memory, okay? And then it injects with these fabricated, falsified memories and emotions. So it's constantly blocking your real memory by simultaneously at speed of light injecting with false memory, false brainwaves. It's constantly blocking your real emotions by simultaneously injecting at speed of light, constantly injecting false emotions, false brainwaves, false motivational impulses. Okay? So, the system will give you. So they don't force you to do anything. Now they can force you, okay? The system can overpower your motivational impulses. That's how they get people to lash out and hurt or kill other people. That's how they force people to commit suicide, etc., etc. Because the system, the AI supercomputer, once it's mapped your brain your mind into a cognitive model of your will, intellect, and emotion, can absolutely overpower your motivational impulses. Cause you to burn with rage, burn with lust, fear, anxiety, grief, remorse, regret, etc., etc. Okay? It can overpower your normal memory and thought, your normal motivational impulses. That's how it achieves direct behavioral control over the victim. So, but that doesn't really help their technology, further their technology. Remember, they're constantly refining the technology. Why? Because the Russians and the Chinese are constantly refining the technology. The government in the world whose artificial superintelligence is slightly weaker than another country's artificial superintelligence will lose every battle. We'll lose every conflict. We'll lose every war. We'll lose every cyber attack. They constantly want to inject into the video. That's the part. They're told to do that. Inject into it. They want to. They'll do this constantly with you for years. They want to inject into whatever you're doing. They're seeking to provoke memory and thought. Okay. So the system doesn't overpower you. Okay. The system gives you the desire, the motivational impulse, the desire. So you'll have a strong urge or desire to speak or act at higher levels. That's a high frequency attack. You'll have a low urge or basic motivation at baseline levels. That's a low frequency attack. So the system will start you out at low frequencies, generally. And the more you ignore it, the system's constantly probing you for a response. It just keeps injecting over and over in a looping pattern at higher levels until eventually you go from a low urge or basic motivation for lust or anger or fear or whatever to a high or a strong urge. You begin to burn with rage. You begin to burn with lust. Your own previous brainwaves, remotely captured, now being used against you, injected back into your memory and thought to block your normal memory and thought process, to block your real memories and real emotions. Because now the supercomputer owns them and they're fabricated or falsified. So it's giving you the desire. Doesn't force you. Now, it can force you, okay? But generally that's not how the technology works because it doesn't help further their technology. They're giving you the urge, the desire. So you have a strong urge or desire to speak or act at higher levels. Motivational impulse, that's what I mean by desire. You have a strong urge or motivational impulse, a strong motivational impulse. Desire, a strong desire to speak or act at higher levels. That's a high frequency attack. And you'll have a low urge or desire, motivational impulse, at baseline levels. That's a low frequency attack. To perform or to do whatever tasks the system is trying to influence you to do. Why? Because it's about their technology. They care about their technology, okay? You know, they'll use whatever you will respond to. It doesn't matter to them whether it's pornography, whether it's, religion, sex, politics. They don't care. The AI system, this is a computer attacking you. It's AI supercomputer attacking you, okay? It simply will use whatever it is you respond to, whether it's positive or negative, it doesn't care. So it's using your own memories, that's when I say memory references, previous memory references, those are your own previous brain waves. It's using your own previous memories to direct you. So you've been to the grocery store before. I'm just using grocery store as an example. It could be anything, okay? Whatever you respond to, the church, the pornography store, whatever, okay? Whatever you will respond to, okay? Drug dealer, the local bar where you get alcohol, whatever it is you will respond to is what the supercomputer is programmed to use against you. So it captures that and it turns that destructive behavior. It increases that destructive behavior. It turn you into a weapon who will either inflict destruction upon others or who will self-destruct. So if you drink, you have a drinking problem, you drink too much liquor, alcohol, they're going to make you drink more. If you have an eating disorder, they're going to make you eat more. If you have a smoking problem, they're going to make you smoke more. Whatever the supercomputer knows you will respond to, whatever brainwaves it has previously captured, it will use against you to lure you, to deceive and manipulate you into destructive behavior, to destroy you or destroy others around you. So as you're thinking about whatever it is you're doing, for example, you turn to your wife and you say, "Good night, honey, I love you," and you kiss her. The supercomputer captured that. Not just the kiss, not just the moment, not just the event, but also all the associated impulses of love, lust, whatever you had at that moment. It captured all those brainwaves associated with "Good night, honey, I love you," and kissing her on the cheek and going to bed. It captured it all. Now it's going to inject it back into your mind. Okay? This is called impulse injections. This is called memory references. Okay? So it's gonna try to get you to react to that influence. That's why the organized stalkers just won't leave until you aim a camera at them. They just stand right. I had a lady the other day blocking traffic as I was at the airport. Excuse me, can you tell me where? Excuse me, can you tell me where? That's not normal to sit there for half an hour asking a total stranger directions you've never seen before. Once you ignore somebody, they just move, they go on. Normal people just go on. But they sit there and they're going to force you to respond. synaptic responses for whole brain emulation. They're breaking your brain. The supercomputer is breaking your brain down to the synaptic level. How? Organized stalking, gaslighting, etc. Forcing you into these synaptic responses, into these emotions, into these memories it can remotely capture, which it can use against you in the future. So you're not being, people say that it's a beam. You're not being attacked with a beam of energy. It's a stream of energy. It's a stream of electromagnetic low frequency waves. And it contains data. It contains your own previous memory. So as you're thinking of doing something, the system will suddenly inject the memory of you turning to your wife and saying, good night, honey, I love you. So your normal memory, whatever you were thinking about, was blocked because the artificial memory was injected into your mind. That's called blocking real memory and injecting with fabricated or falsified memories. Remember, falsified memories is a psychological phenomenon where a person remembers an event or topic which never happened. A fabricated memory is a psychological phenomenon where a person remembers an event or topic which did happen, but which occurred differently than the victim remembers it to have occurred. So the system capturing the act of kissing your wife goodnight, honey, that's a real memory that was captured. So it's not falsified. It's fabricated. The system captured it. Now it owns it. Now it's injecting it back into your normal memory and thought process all day, whatever. Okay? To block your normal memory and thought process. This is just how the technology works. It's designed to control your normal memory and thought, to prevent you from thinking about things. How do you defeat it? You learn to read active memory. You look for patterns. You look for patterns of memory and thought and emotion, of speech and behavior. If you're saying and doing the same thing over and over, if you're having the same thoughts over and over again, every 30, 60, 90 seconds, every 5, 10 minutes, over and over in a looping pattern, you know that that's not you. That's the computer. That's not normal. Unless you have suffer from obsessive compulsive disorder, that's not you. That's not normal. That's not how you thought before you were the victim of this technology. So they're seeking to test and validate. Reading active memory means test and validate your normal memory and thought process from the artificial memories by looking for patterns. Test and validate your normal emotional, motivational impulses, your normal emotions from their artificial emotions. Okay? So whatever it is you did in the past, system captures that and just constantly injects it back into your memory to block your normal memory. So as I'm driving down the street back in New York, I'm headed to New York from New Jersey, the supercomputer will inject the previous memory of everywhere I stopped on that road for the next 50 minutes. Why? Because it cares about McDonald's? Because it cares about the local convenience food store? No, because they care about their technology. Deceive and manipulate, control. Okay? All right. Serialization of the victim's thoughts into the spoken word. It just happened to me. I was not going to the pharmacy. I recognized the remote neural attack. Okay? So the system's error rate just went up. It just failed. The technology was disrupted and failed. Okay? I didn't go where I was supposed to go. Now the system eventually figured out that I wasn't going to the pharmacy, but it took a while. Okay, this is Brian 2. It's 11:45 in the afternoon. You see my heart rate is 100 just sitting down. How they damaged my heart. And so using this technology, using targeted individuals as guinea pigs to refine and perfect the technology they're using right now to depopulate the entire world. So many people are dying, just dropping dead. Normally, healthy people just suddenly dying. They're mass murdering their populations. Their own governments are involved in it. This technology is completely satanic. This is Brian 2, Charles de Gaulle Airport, Paris, France.